Just setting up my stream deck here. Getting ready to do news. What's up, Lurch? How you doing, buddy? Can you hear me? I'm rebuilding the Stream Deck from the install. You working tonight, Lurch? I think I forgot it. Good. All right, I'll be right back. Just gonna go get some coffee, and I'll come right back. Did you pre-order one of these graphics cards? Anybody? Besides me? It should be shipping any day. It's gonna be here by the 20th. Everybody does hear me, right? I hope so. I was fooling with everything again. Getting the both computers working. We will do the news on time tonight. I won't get involved in any shenanigans. Just trying to get some information on my new graphics card and see if anything came out. Bought a chiller for it. Water cooler. Slap on it. Reminds me, I want to see how things running right now. Everything's old, like from a week ago or longer. Like no news has dropped on the 2080 series. 4 days ago. I don't know what that is.
Let's see, the company had to dial back the ray trace. Ah, come on, you gotta be kidding me. Welcome back to GamerMeld. Ray tracing has been a huge topic as of late, thanks to the announcement of Nvidia's RTX GPUs, and it's certainly interesting. I mean, the difference between rasterization and ray tracing can be mind-boggling at times, and while it's technically just more realistic lighting and shadows, it impacts everything from the way a material looks to adding serious depth to your environment. So far, the problem with using this lighting method is simply how much processing power it takes to render. That is, until now. Nvidia's upcoming RTX line of graphics cards are built on the Turing architecture, which includes cores specifically designed to aid in ray tracing and AI, so the more traditional CUDA cores can handle most everything else. At least, that's what we had hoped, but apparently it's not that simple. This leads me into the story. In a roundtable interview at Gamescom with DICE's technical director, Christian Holmquist? I'm really not sure it's this. Right there. Quite a bit was said about the developer's implementation of ray tracing in Battlefield 5. The conversations were documented by Tom's Hardware, but what I want to focus on is just a couple parts. The first of which is disheartening. In the interview, Tom's Hardware states that they're targeting, yes, their goal for Battlefield 5 with ray tracing is 60 FPS at 1080p. Now hold on for a second, I can already hear you typing. No, resolution isn't everything, and yes, 1080p is fine. Hell, I just got my first 4K monitor, though it's the cheapest one I could find on Amazon. And yes, it's an optional setting, but users who pay over $1,100 for a GPU almost certainly have a 4K 1440p or ultra-wide monitor. And spending all that to either A, not fully utilize the monitor you paid for, or B, turn off the setting for the main selling point of said $1,100 GPU is a little ridiculous. And it's not just in Battlefield either. There were early reports of Tomb Raider's demo getting 33 to 48 FPS at 1080p, but most assume that was due to having little time with the cards. Well, apparently it's not. Remember, this is DICE's goal. The goal for release, for beyond release, etc. So while I know they only got the cards a couple weeks prior to the demo, they're clearly not that hopeful in extra time making a big difference. Now, with all of that said, don't get me wrong, this is still an incredible leap in graphics, and while AMD does have similar technology, Nvidia is first to truly incorporate it into games. I'm just concerned it may have been done too soon. Also, there's a slight positive when it comes to this article. In the same interview, DICE's director made it clear that they are aware of gamers utilizing more cores instead of higher clocks. Basically, they're optimizing it for even 6 cores. Whether turning ray tracing off still utilizes those cores or not wasn't said, but either way, developers are aware that high core count CPUs are becoming a bigger deal, and they're willing and able to tap into them. Lastly for today, it looks like AMD's Vega 20 GPUs will include XGMI, a high bandwidth interconnect made to combat Nvidia's NVLink. It was found in AMD's latest GPU Linux driver, and while Vega 20 more than likely won't ever be a gaming GPU, there's a chance that if Nvidia's RTX 2080 and 2080 Ti do in fact come with NVLink, then AMD could be preparing to challenge them on multi-GPU support. Of course, just like Nvidia, this could be limited to the higher tier cards due to the cost of the interconnect. We shall see though. So while that does it for today, what did you think of the news? Is ray tracing worth a pretty massive hit to FPS? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, definitely don't forget to subscribe for all things gaming hardware. And as always, have a great day.
Trying to think what else is new to the gaming world. I haven't seen the Tomb Raider trailer yet. I think I'll watch it. Got 8 minutes. Oxford seems to be excited about this game.
What's your name?
Lara
Surname?
Croft. Lara, your father's gone. You can pick up where he left off. I see so much of him in you. Brilliant.
Hello, Sprout. If you're listening to this, then I must be dead. I found something. A tomb called the Mother of Death. If Trinity succeeds, our world is in danger. Promise me you will stop them.
I promise. I think I know where my dad went.
That's right in the middle of the Devil's Sea.
It'll be an adventure.
Death is not an adventure.
Hey, Kool-Aid. Want to start the news here in a bit.
You shouldn't have come here. But I'm glad that you did.
What do you know about my father?
Now I see the likeness, the recklessness.
Close the tomb once and for all. The fate of humanity is now in your hands.
Is that all in engine? That ain't what the game looks like. No
Can't be
way.
too careful these days. The world has gone bloody mad.
I'll take 2.
We're joking. Movie trailer. Want to see the
Because I
movie
could not stop
before
for
the-
death,
Okay.
he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held, but just ourselves and immortality. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible. The cornice in the ground. Since then, 'tis centuries, and yet feels shorter than a day.
I can just remember getting pissed off and not being able to figure out the puzzles in the prior game. And I only think I played 2 of them.
With this key and the silver box, we can remake the world.
I won't let that happen. No one is safe!
This is the first of many catastrophes you're doing.
Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me.
All right. See if I can switch scenes. Hopefully everything works, right? I think they should.
Even this change can stop me.
Alrighty. The news. After 2 months, our guy, Day Late Gamer, the guy who got the swearing problem, came out with a video. Ooh, he's got a new intro too. I think this guy's got potential. He's just gotta clean it up a little bit. Link to his video.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of all ages, welcome back to another late as fuck edition of Star Citizen 3.2.2. Now, alright, first things first. Yeah, it's been a while. So, full disclosure, a couple things were going on in my personal life, and I've been working my fingers to the bones, so I haven't really been having a whole lot of time to do things. I was also taking part in, well, I guess you could say taking part in a lawsuit. As some of you may know, I was in a car accident almost 2.5 years ago now. And litigation is still ongoing, and the stress of that, plus having to work, plus just physical inconveniences and things of that nature. I'm still really banged up. Plus, being a little disenfranchised with some of the things that Cloud Imperium have chosen to do. And oh boy, has there been choices. Now, for those of you living under a rock for the past, let me check my watch here, like month, some information came out about CitizenCon where they were going to charge people who weren't concierge to watch the stream. And I wanted to comment, wow, words are hard, brain my damage. I wanted to comment on this sooner, but I didn't want to jump the gun, as a lot of my previous comments and statements seem to be, words are hard, seem to be overturned, usually in one way or another, and I wanted to really read up on everything so I could be well informed, and I'm kind of glad that I did, because shortly after I planned to make that video, they did a double turn. They did an about face, and they did the right thing. So, a couple things. I think it's kind of bullshit that they wanted to charge people. I can totally understand the charge for, like, the CitizenCon goodies. You know, to me, that's fine, because it's just that. It's the goodies. You're, you know, if you didn't go to CitizenCon, but you want the stuff, kind of like the skins they did on the guns last year, okay. I'm cool with that. But charging for the stream? Get the fuck out of here. Of course, like I said, they have backpedaled on that. And I read the rationale and how they were like, oh, well, we're gonna make it much bigger and more of a con again. And it's, con, I guess, having a double meaning. But, okay. And I don't like that. I don't know about you, but the money I've poured into Star Citizen, the considerable amount of money that I poured into Star Citizen, is for the development of the game, not the development of their CitizenCon, not to blow, I think it was like, what, like 100,000 for CitizenCon? And that's kind of like on the low estimate. Especially considering the venue, all the computers that they're going to have, all the other, you know, I guess they're having 2 stages. That sounds fucking expensive. I would much rather that CitizenCon be at Foundry 42, Wilmslow, Germany, fuck, the back alley for all I care. Just show me some slides, show me some footage of what's to come, make my jaw drop, and, you know, call it a day. But the way that they went about it originally, I think, was all wrong. One thing Star Citizen needs desperately is PR. They need a much better PR person, if you ask me. There has also been... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. No, being attacked. Let's try to avoid that. Not today, asshole. Oh boy, yeah. I am in a prospector. Okay, evasive maneuvers. Whoa. Okay, yeah, nope, that is a okay, that could be bad. Nope. Haha. Fuck you. Okay, oh, again. Oh, you slimy bastard. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just, you know, keep with the whooshy and the... come on, we can do it. We can do it. It's like a roller coaster, but, you might die. So, stay strapped in. Okay, wow. This guy's a horrible shot. Or I'm that good. And it ain't the second one. What was that, a cutlass? I think that was a cutlass. And let's, nope, okay. Come on. There we go. Maybe I should, jump. Oh god, he's still trying, and I'm getting hit. Okay. Here we go. That, I don't know what... Come on. Let's get the fuck up out of here. And peace. Okay, alright. I think we've cleared. I think we're clear now. We can continue on with our mining mission. Where was I?
So what's he trying to prove?
Right. So CitizenCon. I think they need a better PR person, and I think they need someone to rein CR in a little bit. I applaud the enthusiasm in wanting to make it such a big thing, but personally, I don't think such a large expenditure, A, should fall on the backers because that's what's happening. B, shouldn't fall on the backers twice, which was happening, but they've since, again, pivoted. And I think they're getting a little out of control with this CitizenCon thing. Like, sure, I want to see the new stuff. And for those of you who don't know, I was recently accepted, well, half accepted so far, to Evocati. Which is, I am stoked. I am so excited to get into ETF. But I think CitizenCon is turning into a monster. When it started out, it was great. It's a good idea. But with what they are planning and trying to do, I would much rather that money go towards development instead of this giant convention that, I mean, you know, if we're going to be honest, is basically just everyone kind of jacking each other off. I mean, really, you know? Yeah, they'll probably go over some new tech that they're doing and, you know, things for the future. Do you really need 2-stage venue for that? I mean, wouldn't a PowerPoint suffice? You know, maybe, you know, a couple of videos? I don't know. I don't think that the CitizenCon needs to be what they're wanting it, planning it, and basically forcing us to pay it to be, I guess, if that makes sense. We also had the, what the hell was that? The medical ship. The Apollo. That came out. And then there was the,
that looks
the
interesting.
new Mercury thing. They're basically Star Citizen's answer to the Millennium Falcon, which I think is awesome. I totally got one. Same with the Apollo. Again, I've got more ships than sense at this moment. But yeah, I've got high hopes for both of those ships. I'm still not happy about the whole LTI only on new money thing. I find that to be a little bit greedy, and it seems even more underhanded to me that they're just trying to squeeze more money out of people, A, for CitizenCon, and B, if what SIG says is correct, they are now placing LTI on a pedestal by locking it behind fresh money only. You know, psychologically, that says a lot. If you have to pay... Oh, and my fucking mining laser's all forked up. If you have to pay fresh cash for a thing, but then turn around and say, no, it's not that big of a deal, and yet lock it off to only fresh cash, you have thus imparted that it is a big deal because you can only get it in one certain way. But with the Apollo being a specifically medical ship, where the Cutlass Red is more like an ambulance, I see the Apollo as possibly going to be a big moneymaker. And the Mercury, I mean, come on, who the fuck doesn't want a Millennium Falcon? I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say you, right now listening, are playing because you want the Millennium Falcon. Will be sold separately, batteries not included, void where prohibited, warranties not valid, 42. Yeah, so with 3.3 fast approaching, just over the horizon, I mean, just look, you can see it now, it's cresting. You know, and getting invited to be an avocado, which I am so incredibly proud about, I'm not going to lie. Finally get to join the ranks, the prestigious ranks. You know, I want to try to get back into it, and I felt like, you know, it's been long enough. There's just so many things I'm really excited for, but I'm nervous about. I want to hear from you. What are you looking forward to? What are you nervous about? What are your thoughts on this whole CitizenCon debacle bullshit? Did you pick up an Apollo? Did you pick up a Mercury? Did you pick up shit on the side of the road? Go ahead, don't tell me about that in particular. But the other things...
Tell me about that.
Feel free. Yeah, I want to hear about that. I want to have a discussion.
I don't know.
Another thing I'm really excited for is to have FPS combat AI in the verse, in the P.
Alright. We're gonna go to STL Youngblood. See what he's got. 2 weeks ago, we already seen it. Tactical Advance. A month ago, we already seen it. Montoya. Mr. Controversy himself.
I usually begin these videos with some kind of funny intro, you know, grab people's attention. Embrace Test Squadron. But I'm drawing a blank this time, so let's jump right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am Montoya, and welcome to State of the Squadron number 33, I want to say. 33! State of the Squadron is a show where I talk about things happening in and around Star Citizen and within Test Squadron, which is, as we all know, the best squadron in all of Star Citizen. As always, beginning by welcoming all our new members, 17,558 at the time of this video. You new guys, welcome to Test. We appreciate you choosing Test as your organization, and I look forward to speaking or seeing you at CitizenCon if you are going, which takes us, what a great segue to the next segment, CitizenCon. Okay, this is a good story. I wake up in the morning, got my coffee, sitting down, scratch my butt, have a sip of coffee. My Discord's blowing up. I click a message. Montoya, Have you seen what they're saying about booths at CitizenCon for orgs? I respond calmly. Of course I've seen what they said about booths for organizations at CitizenCon. What am I? An idiot? And then I quickly ran to see what they were saying about orgs. Apparently, there are booths this time at CitizenCon, which is great. I love that they did this. And, well, there's only 4 spots available. So it wasn't cut and clear that we are getting one. But, okay, I guess I gave it away. Did I? Did I not? All right, let's backtrack a little bit. Let's go back to last year, CitizenCon in Frankfurt 2017. Now, these guys here, well, mostly this guy. This is Munkin. And that's the flag he got and the stand he bought. And this is Dionator. And what they did was they set up this huge-ass flag and a cardboard cutout of me, Chris, and Frisbee. You set that up. Thank you very much. You don't want to see it. It's hideous. And what this allowed us to do is get everyone who was in test to come and hang out by the picture, by the flag, take pictures, hang out. It was a nice way to get everyone in the org into one spot and do something that brings you together. A cohesive action, in a way. So Cameron, who's a CIG guy that deals with this kind of thing, walked up to Munkin and said, listen, you can't have this here. Fire marshal, this and that, public health hazard. Munkin said, I'm on it. I'll take it down right away. And then he left it up the whole time. But what Munkin did suggest is that why don't you have booths at these events, or at least some place where all can do something and all get together. He planted the seed. I see that CIG was listening, and they came out and said, hey guys, we have 4 spots available. What you got to do is give us a PDF file with all the things that you plan on doing, how you want to decorate, etc., etc., etc. So it's a bit more complicated than setting up a flag. I quickly went and wrote an email and sent it. And fingers crossed, hopefully you get it. And a couple of days ago, I was contacted by Xylo. Test Squadron does have a booth. Thank you. Now, it wasn't guaranteed that we would get one. It really all depended on what CIG is thinking of doing with these booths. I'm going to show you who got the rest of the booth now in a second. It was the Daymar Rally guys. Congrats. I'm seeing a lot of your stuff on Around the Verse all the time. Test Squadron, the best squadron. Ultima Energy Corp. Who? That's what I said. I've never heard of them before. And this is great. Check it out. They are a small org of 20 people. Ultima Energy is a for-profit incorporated entity that focuses on refining, manufacturing, distribution of energy commodities. I think it is great that they gave a small org a booth that allows you to recruit and meet people face-to-face, which is the best way to recruit people into an organization. The last one was Atlas Defense Industries. We will crush them with friendly hugs. And we will destroy them with our friendliness at the convention. So Atlas, good to see you going. As I understand, there are 2 guys from Atlas driving from Florida to go set up the booth. Now, those of you in Europe don't understand how big Texas is. Texas is about the size of Europe, if you overlay it. It's massive. So that's a big drive. Good on you, Atlas guys, for picking this up and getting this done. I know it is a big project, but it's going to be great to see orgs represented in this way. If you are attending CitizenCon, please drop by the booth. If you are in Test Squadron, we have lots of swag to give away. We have all kinds of pins and stickers and lanyards and a whole bunch of stuff we're working on. It's a bit of a scramble. Those of you who've done conventions in the past, 5 weeks is not a lot of time to set up a booth. So we are scrambling in designing and get everything done. We are pretty sure we will get it on time, and it's going to be spectacular. Also, an X56 giveaway. I'm not going to let out all our secrets, but there's going to be good stuff happening. It's going to be exciting. Oh, that's open to everyone. Let's move on to the forums. All right, Test Squadron, your forums are upgraded. I know you hate it, don't you? Well, you will get used to it. We were running on Zenfora 1.0. It was in desperate need of an upgrade. This is Zenfora 2.0 now. The front end is a bit different. The back end is beautiful. Now, you guys don't care about that, but it's pretty important to us. There are a couple of features missing, but Season 404, thank you for your work. I know he spent countless nights awake getting this done for us. There are a few things missing, like the group's not in yet, and yeah, okay, you know, at the end of my videos, I thank everyone who donated. I'm very, very sorry. I apologize ahead of time. We don't have that up, so I don't have that list on me, so I cannot thank you, but I will be doing it in the next video when we import that data back in. So forums are up. It looks beautiful. There's Discord scrolling on the side there. Also, we have Spartan Host as a new sponsor. We are now hosted on their servers. They are located in, was it San Francisco? I forget exactly where it is, but great performance, great prices, and amazing speed so far on their servers. So please take them a look if you are interested in servers and hosting. Moving on, I want to draw your attention to Printimus and his book club. The book selected for September is Galaxy's Edge Legionnaire. If you want to get the book club and seem smart, what they do is you read a book and then end the month to get together and discuss it. Is a great idea. This is the second or third month we're doing it now. So definitely drop by the thread if you want to learn more about it. You can probably download this book fairly cheaply. Get in there. We look forward to seeing you expand your mind by reading. Moving on to recent news, I wanted to talk about the whole $20 live stream shenanigans. What a mess this was. All right,
$20 live stream shenanigans.
CIG wanted to charge $20 for the live stream from CitizenCon. Now, in previous years, how many of us have all come together to watch it together online and not have to pay? The idea of paying for it was completely unpalatable. Nobody wanted this, but we understand why. CIG wanted to get a fancy camera crew in. They needed to pay more money. It will cost more. I made a video to it. Obviously, I was pretty upset and go, this is bull. We don't like it. CIG then explained further and what said the keynote would remain free. So the actual important stuff would be free. Everything else, then you'd have to pay. But if you don't want to pay, it's all free the next day anyway. I was pretty satisfied when I made this video saying, yeah, okay, it's all going to be free the next day and 24 hours is fine. But then Chris Roberts went to bed and he woke up the next morning and he said, you know what? Scratch everything. It all remains free, period. And everyone was happy. So that was a nice little 24-hour roller coaster of emotions from everyone being pissed off to everyone saying, well, I guess it's okay now. It's not the first time things like that have happened, but, you know, from the flack that CIG gets, they do listen to the community. So give them that. You know, everyone complained, everyone was upset. They said, all right, we hear you. We are changing this. Within 24 hours, it all scrapped, and it was done. And the $20 digital package thing was still being sold. People were still buying it as a show of support. So that speaks volumes for both sides. Good on you all. Last thing to talk about quickly here is Guilded. Now, Guilded.gg/test. Check this out. This is a third-party site. This is not related to Discord, although you do want to log in with your Discord login. It is all integrated. What this is, it's a platform. And this may not apply to everyone, but for Test Squadron and for Test Gaming, this works out perfectly. We're kind of trying it out now. It's a beta test. For Guilded, and it's our beta test of their system to see how our users like it and how they interact with it.
Organization.
A bunch of games which we all play listed on the left there. Let's take, for example, Destiny. I'm going to click on Destiny, and here you will see comments by Blindell, by someone. He's running some events. They have a little calendar section going there where you can see things are being organized. And almost every single game you can think of, we have in there. Right now, Scum is one that I'm playing a lot. It's very popular. You can go to the overview. You can see posts being made here by Exist and others who are talking about the game itself. What this does for us as a gaming organization is it takes off the responsibility of having to add forum sections to our own forum. Instead, you can spin it up on the fly on Guilded. All you got to do is log in with your Discord. Give it a look. Tell me what you think. For some of them, we have like these forums working over here. Now, we're not replacing our forums, but there are rudimentary forum type functions within Guilded themselves. So give that a look, give it a shot, tell me how you like it. A very interesting job. It's an interesting niche they found. So far, we like it. Give it a look if you're interested, and let us know what you think about it. With that, let's wrap up State of the Squadron number 33. I've got to go and prepare for the hurricane, which I believe is probably hitting my area very soon. Let's see if there's an update here. You know, smack into North Carolina. I've got to go and rush to buy emergency supplies in case. But I do know at least one person down in Wilmington rushing to get his family out of there. Stay safe, you guys. And if you are anywhere in South or North Carolina coastline, please be prepared. Water, everything else you need, batteries, emergency supplies. And well, it's not the first time we've had this, but please let us know if everything's okay. If everything is well, I will be back with another video, and if my power cuts out, which it probably will. Let's wrap it up. Thank you very much. As always, thumbs up, your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you like this content. I will see you at CitizenCon or in my next video, whichever comes first. Take care.
Okay, so next video will be by possibly Minion Soldier. A new one. 4 days ago. Because I haven't seen. Oh no, 12 hours ago.
Admiral on the bridge. Battle stations. Tactical.
Link to Minion Soldiers.
She can still outrun us and outgun us. But there is the Mutara Nebula at 153 Mark IV.
Scotty, can we make it inside? The Energizer is bypassed like a Christmas tree, so don't give me too many bumps. No promises. On your way.
Trouble with the nebula, sir, is all that static discharge and gas clouds our tactical display. Visual won't function, and shields will be useless.
The young captain.
Sauce for the goose, Mr. Savick. The odds will be even.
So one of the core technologies, one of the core pieces of Star Citizen that I have kept a weather eye on since we started hearing about it a couple of years ago, in fact, was gas clouds, nebulas, things of this nature. And so when it turned up on the roadmap, I have been watching it ever since very closely. Now, when the cloud tech was originally going to be in 3.3, it was like great, and then it got pushed back into 3.4. Of course, we know as some things took longer than others, things get pushed back. This is one of those things. And so, I mean, I guess I could say I was disappointed, but I mean, it is the nature of, you know, game development that things end up getting pushed back. And trust me, because I'm currently playing BFA, I know all about what a rushed and unfinished feature looks like and feels like when you're playing it in a live environment, and it's not great. So, to a certain degree, I can show a lot of patience towards Star Citizen, and that's where that comes from. But to get back on track, the gas cloud tech is something that I've watched. I've was very intently listening when they were talking about nebulas, and sometimes nebulas possibly even spanning entire star systems or large sections of a star system, and I've always wanted to pay attention to that. We know that there's going to be environments, areas where it's difficult for ships to fly. There's going to be areas where there could be environmental interference, and you know, as a big fan of what is obviously the greatest Star Trek movie ever made since I was a kid. You know, it's still one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I really hope that we get some kind of nebula effects like that. Some kind of nebulas that maybe don't interfere with shields, but interfere with sensors and blind ships and stuff like that, that make for some really interesting battles and some really deep gameplay.
I'm pretty sure we're getting
that. That's what I hope turns up in the game. I realize that the initial implementation is probably just going to be kind of like a volumetric cloud effect that is going to apparently have some
kind of part of the Expanse experience.
Very tangible, something that looks like it belongs in the universe, and that's going to make a star system come to life visually and make it interesting to look at, if not beautiful. But I hope that there's an added effect that goes along with that, something that really does interfere with sensors. And I think that it can make for a lot of very interesting gameplay. I like, you know, just having the possibility of something like that. Certainly with environments like that that are supposed to span large areas, conceivably that could also be something that extends over or into asteroid fields, things like that. I mean, we know that asteroid fields are going to get some kind of like a gas cloud particle effect, something to kind of bring them to life. I mean, certainly here in Yela,
you're doing well.
The asteroid field's pretty good, but it is still kind of very dry and flat. And hopefully there's something visually just to make it pop a little bit more. But beyond that, you know, last year when they introduced the Pioneer and everyone was like, ooh, the Pioneer, we can build bases, land claims. There was a lot of discussion about that. I've kind of dropped into the discussion a few times the fact that I would rather see bases buildable on asteroids. Like if someone told me that, yeah, you can go to an asteroid in orbit of Yela and set up your own little base quietly, something like that, I would be all over that. Or just like if there are random lost asteroids in a nebula or just an asteroid field that passes through or exists in a nebula, I think being able to build a little base, a little pirate way station out there, that would be something that would very much interest me, especially, you know, you would have an in-lore reason for it to exist because it's there, it's in the nebula, it's hard to find, so only the people who kind of know where it is know how to get there, that sort of thing. And, you know, just a little hidden outpost where friendly pirates can go and trade goods and maybe fuel up and get repairs, things like that. I think something like that, to see something like that evolve into the game, and something that isn't strictly speaking like CIG created, but something that's community created, I think would be really, really cool. So I hope, yeah, that's one of the things with the outpost construction and the Pioneer. I hope that it extends beyond worlds. I hope that it extends to asteroids as well. That, I think, would be just the cherry on top. That would make that an amazing system to see come to life. Once you put a system like this in place, there's so many things that you can do. I mean, even the tactical implications of it are incredible. I mean, the things that you could possibly pull off, even in, let's say, like a PvE sense. I would love to see the YouTube video or the Twitch stream of somebody who's in, let's say, a Javelin or an Idris taking on a couple of, you know, Vanduul capitals and just using smart tactics and using an environment like this to their advantage, and basically having almost like the battle in the Mutara Nebula and just totally trouncing them just with skill and using that environment as something to kind of even the odds. I really, you know, I can't wait for that thing, for something like that to happen, you know, if it does indeed materialize like that. And so I see a lot of hope in a system like this, and I hope that it goes beyond just being like a pretty visual effect, and it actually is something that deeply enriches gameplay. And I think that the amount of gameplay and the amount of depth that you can get out of something like this is going to be quite extraordinary. I mean, it seems like such a simple idea, but the amount of things, I'm sure that in your own mind right now, you're running through potential scenarios and saying, well, that could work. Or,
maybe there won't be no hydrogen in the cloud,
away from pirates,
and therefore you're not recharging your fuel as you're flying with your scoops.
Escape or something like that. Or I could hide a bunch of ships in a nebula and just get a Vanduul ship to chase me and then ambush it or something like that. I mean, the possibilities are literally endless, and so I really hope that it goes far beyond just the simple environmental lighting effect and gas cloud effect, and it goes to some real deep gameplay stuff. I hope that that is something that we see materialize within the system. Now, certainly, it's kind of funny to hear me argue this point, because, you know, someone who is obviously a big fan of visibility, arguing that visibility should be impaired in certain areas. I think that, you know, when it comes to a ship, I don't think it should ever be impaired. I think that a ship should never be fighting you. but an environment that, kind of obscures what you can see, and not just what you can see visually, but what you can see with your sensors, I think it adds a certain amount of tension. It's something that you go in there and it adds that certain amount of fear. Like the very first time you ever played a Resident Evil game, you didn't know what was around the corner way back in the day before, really YouTube and the internet just kind of spoiled everything. To a certain degree in gaming, when you didn't know what was around the next corner. I think having large swaths of space covered up in these gas clouds and whatever particulate matter, however it's scientifically designated, having areas that are obscured like this, having large areas where there is that mystery, where you could possibly set up a base or set up an ambush, or there could be an ambush waiting for you. I mean, certainly I can imagine somebody standing on the bridge of their Javelin going into a nebula and then all of a sudden seeing a huge Vanduul capital ship just come looming out of the darkness would be, a very terrifying but a very immersive experience. I think that would be very exciting. So hopefully it goes much beyond just the basic visual effect. Anyways, just some random thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.
All right, Union Soldier. Okay, and next on our Citizen Gamer, the guys that do the Blastcast. I love the Blastcast. The hydration's telling me that. Okay, so that should be the link to, well, I guess I linked their homepage instead of the video, but you'll get there. I promise you, you'll get there.
Greetings everyone and welcome to the Blastcast. I am Jarus, and with me as always is the man who thinks Arma's AI is extremely fair and balanced, Lightning Dragon.
That is absolutely opposite.
He's obsessed with how good the AI is, you can tell. As always, as we get closer to CitizenCon, news is becoming more and more sparse, so I don't imagine this is going to be a long one. And around the verse, they showed off more of the habitation modules and showed off some of the lighting effects and basically explained a bit about how that works and why character lighting is different than room lighting. Pretty basic stuff. CIG showed off their new lockers this week, and what these are for is that when you get a mission to do a pickup or delivery, you go to one of these lockers and you either select to pick up something or deliver something, the door opens and you deposit the box or pick one up. One of the things I noticed about this, which was kind of weird, the screen on the right clearly shows like a pickup or deliver kind of button on there. But when you put your cursor over it, you have to use the inner thought system, which is arranged vertically to either pick up or deliver. My question is, why not just use the screens the same way that we use our MFDs in our ships? Why have the extra step? I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the inner thought system in a lot of regards. It's kind of unwieldy sometimes, but putting it in that situation seems like a bad move. You have big buttons on the screen, just let us push them.
And I'm curious, anybody else, what your thoughts are about this inner thought system? I mean, Jarus and I both don't really like it. I tolerate it, but I'd prefer to have like buttons or hotkeys.
Yeah, I would agree. Reverse the Verse this week was chocked full of good information about object container streaming. I'm going to go over a few of those highlights, a few of the things that I really thought were interesting. Now, objects are streamed in based on their size. For example, at a long distance away, you might see a planet, but a fighter will quickly disappear when it becomes too small to even be seen, like a pixel or something like that. The game just basically removes it. How this is going to work is based entirely on size. The Idris may not see the fighter drawn in, but the fighter might see the Idris. In fact, that's about a guarantee.
I would hope so.
One of the complexities of this is that they have to trick scanners to see things further than they're actually drawn in, so they have to do some manipulation there, get those two things to work differently.
I can't imagine it's going to be that hard.
No.
Because all they have to do really is just have it where it's still an information blurb, but the information blurb is not telling your game to draw the asset in, but all the information still exists. At least like basic information.
Well, I remember them talking about a while ago when someone asked, how does this work when you have like a sniper rifle, scope, binoculars, or whatever, and you zoom in, and effectively the camera gets moved forward, as imagine is how they kind of described it, if I understood that right, and it'll treat it from that position as far as what you can see. The first iteration of object container streaming is actually going to be client-side. The full impact of what the performance is going to be is not really known. The reason for this is that there are too many configurations out there. Everyone's got their own set of hardware and software in their computers. But one of the good things about this is that it will actually free up a lot more RAM on your system. So if RAM's been a big deal, and we've had experience in the last few patches where we've had memory leak issues, this should be one of those things that will, generally speaking, improve performance, or at least free up memory for everyone across the board. Now with the object container system, there's no limit to how many objects can be placed in other objects. To me, this opens up some very interesting possibilities. For example, in Helion, when you open a door or drawer to look at a subcomponent, inside that subcomponent might be chips and things that you can replace. There's no reason that they can't do this here as well. So imagine you're taking apart, I don't know, let's say a shield generator. Inside that shield generator, you have a coil. And in that coil, you have other subparts that can be replaced or modified. And this can come in handy as well for future modification systems they want to put in, allowing players to upgrade or modify the way that items work. There are a couple nuggets in this week's Calling All Devs. There was a question is how they're going to make Earth work at a 1/4 scale, and it wasn't fully answered as far as the scaling goes, but from what it sounds like, Earth is going to be one of the later planets, if not the last planet they work on. And that's because, first of all, it's a planet we're all familiar with. They can't just procedurally generate it. That's a given. Also, almost every type of biome they're developing for the game is on Earth, so they need to develop those biomes first. A lot of sci-fi games, when you have Earth involved, they find ways to creatively keep you from going on to it. Either it's a wildlife preserve, or there's only rich people can go there, they're mega wealthy, whatever the reason is.
Or it's a wasteland.
Yeah, or it's a wasteland. It's going to be a heck of a challenge for them to go ahead and do this. Now, they don't have to be 100% accurate. 900 years in the future, we can imagine quite a few things have changed. For example, New York might be a mega city that encompasses the entire East Coast. I mean, it could happen. There could have been natural disasters. The land could have changed a bit because of that. They can get creative and still make it recognizable. And for those really complex archaeological kind of sites, hey, asteroid impacts are your friend. Another question will there be deeper customization of ship interiors other than things like, dashboard decorations like bobbleheads? Now, they did say that some colors will be customizable. Other ones will be more difficult because they're specialized materials made to have a certain color or look a certain way. That one's kind of in the air. Of course, you'll still be able to do your adding of ship names and ship numbers. Changing light colors inside the ships is probably not going to be a thing, due to them being designed with the interior materials in mind. Now you can set states, like red alert and things like that, but not actually outright change the colors.
I hope, now this doesn't affect me, but I know it affects quite a lot of people. I hope they go with this light system for colorblind people, so like red being like the most common color blindness, like a blue or something, or green.
Well, as far as the emergency lighting goes, I'm sure they could change like how it, for example, a red alert might flash a certain way, a yellow alert might flash another, emergency might have a much different flash than that. So they can use that as a point of understanding as well.
Yeah.
They did say that they do want to do things like changing the blankets on your bed and possibly even some of the furniture in your ships, desks, tables, chairs, to have options where you can choose something that's a bit more customizable. So
instead of the rocket ship blankets.
Oh yeah, well, maybe I want the rocket ship blanket. But it could be some hope for the 600i Explorer variant owners out there who want to get rid of the pool table and put something else there instead.
Like a hot tub.
Now, if the pool table works, I'll take it.
Or poker.
Poker would be good. That's a good one if poker works. So since we are now officially just a little less than 1 month out from CitizenCon, I would imagine we're going to be seeing Evo Akati either late this week or late next week, somewhere between there. I would imagine they want at least 3 weeks of testing to get everything up and running before they bring it up to the PTU. Alright, so later this week, LD and I are starting a new series. LD and I used to play a lot of Arma online, either through DayZ or through competitive PvP. We decided to go ahead and play Arma 3. It's something we've had for a little while. We have a lot of the expansions and whatnot. We've never actually gotten together to play the campaigns. So we decided to play the new Apex campaign on the new map and see what it's like. Partially because I want to take a study of open area FPS kind of mechanics, as Star Citizen is going to be probably the largest open area FPS mechanic game ever made. So you can tune into that, and we're going to be playing through that entire, I think it's 8 or 9 mission campaign, and you can watch him and I get our asses collectively kicked by the AI, who is the most sentiently aware AI that I've ever seen, who always knows where you are pretty much no matter what. It is weird.
Yeah, there's a good chance that we're gonna install some mods to help tone it down a bit.
Yeah, but maybe after we finish this campaign, because we're real close to being done with it by now. We've recorded a lot of footage.
We're about half the way done or something.
Oh, no, we only got 2 missions left.
Oh.
At this time of recording.
Yeah, take that, freaking time frames.
That does look pretty clean.
So stay tuned for that, and if you haven't seen Arma before, the odds are pretty good you have, but if you haven't, it'd be a good opportunity for you to see what it looks like.
Pretty good looking game. Overall, plays fine, but man, the NPC AI is, it's something else.
Yep, I will give you that. But it's definitely a challenge. Alright folks, well, that's about everything for this Blastcast. I said it was going to be a short one, not much news this week, and we're going to see more of this drought as we get closer and closer to CitizenCon. Leave your comments down below, questions and whatever. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
All right, I already linked that, so you guys could go there and like and subscribe if you. All right, so next on my list is our usual Super Mac Brothers.
Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all the news from Star Citizen from the week just past. I am your host Mac, so let's get on with it. This week, Object Container Streaming gets its very own Reverse the Verse. We look further into the habitation modules that we will see in Hurston for 3.3, plus a new shop archetype. The ship rental store for Hurston is almost complete. So the first question for this week's Calling All Devs was quite simple. It's Tessa Bannister. Will we see her again? Now they say that they do have plans about bringing her back. They're trying to decide the best way to do it. Currently she is just a voice, so there's no performance capture. So if they do make her a mission giver, do they need to get the actress back to re-record the lines? Do they make a lip sync to the lines? Or will she just be a voice in the future? So they'll let us know when they make a decision. Question after this is, will there be an audible notification from our ships if someone is approaching while we are maybe in the back doing something or out on a mission, maybe over your Mobiglass, or just basically not present to hear or see this person? Now they say currently the sound on ships come through the underneath of the pilot seat, so it's a 3D sound. This is, they say, why the sounds are pretty quiet in the cockpit, but they do plan to expand it. So there will be likely multiple places around the ship letting you know wherever you are on the ship. They did say that they'd likely link it to the Mobiglass, but there's also going to be, or plans to be, this security MFD, which allows you to track passengers on board, turn off gravity or vent the atmosphere to various rooms, lock doors, open doors, close doors, and even set alarms. So there's a lot more functionality coming to ships. It's just when they get round to it, basically. Next question, will our ships sound alarms before a room is depressurized? And they say definitely they've got the basic depressurization already. And we did see some work of this during the RTV with Chris Roberts a little while back. But they do expect there to be an alarm specifically for that. But also you'll have the ability to turn it off should you want to vent or repel boarders. You don't want them to know that you're going to vent the room. So final question, what is the next system that we will see once Stanton is complete? Now they haven't quite decided yet. The jumps from Stanton are Terra, which is the centre of the UE, Pyro, which is your lawless pirate system, and Magnus, which is home to Drake Interplanetary. These are the 3 jumps to and from Stanton, but they do have the Delamar landing zone of Levski. That is built, so they could choose the next system. They are looking at what they can do quickly and what will allow them to continue to build the tech and move forward on features, but still deliver a new system. So just because those 3 jumps are from Stanton doesn't necessarily mean that it'll be one of those 3. The good thing about bringing Stanton first, they did say, is that once complete, they will have the majority of biomes. But obviously, they're trying to get Lorville done first. That is priority. They already know what they need to do for Area 18 and Artcore. Then it's Microtech with New Babbage and Crusader with Horizon. After that, they will look at the next system, but I am working on a video right now which looks at the possibilities of each system and what they could bring to us, so do keep an eye out for that and make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out. So this week's Around the Verse kicked off with a further look into player habitation modules. Now they're continuing to build out and improve the first iteration of player housing. This week it was focused on lighting. These will be around the Lorville landing location, they say, similar to what we kind of have at the moment in terms of player hubs, but with obviously larger area inside. I doubt very much that we'll be able to purchase them anytime soon, but it's nice to see the progress. And we got to see a little walk around the location which holds them, which is the lobby area and the rooms themselves. They do look incredible. I really cannot wait to get in these. Also, do notice that the player movement and animation looks a little more robust. Still needs a little work with the transitioning between speeds, but it does look great. Now, the lighting artist did mention that this is where the players will have their personal items and a bed to sleep in, so whether we get one each, I doubt it. I do hope so in terms of being able to buy them, but I think that's coming much later on. Now, they were lighting the area, the lobby in particular, to reflect the concept art. The stairs and the hubs are lit to be more present, with extra lighting surrounding them to more just set the mood so that the hubs and the stairs stand out a bit more. They're also creating lighting variations within each hub so that players may have a choice as to which lighting style they want, which sounds pretty nice as well. So moving on to a couple of moons, we saw the conceptual renderings for 2 of Artcore's moons, Lyria and Wala. Very early development for the visuals. Wala is a simple barren moon with outcrops of geo-like minerals. It looks like that could be some area for good mining or maybe some science type of mission where you scan them or take samples. That would be cool. Lyria's surface consists of dirty ice scarred by deep crevices and dotted with cryovolcanoes to create this constant cold but humid atmosphere. And I love the idea of seeing these deep crevices and lots of sort of opposite verticality with the crevices and the volcanoes. Now, the mission lockers are also being worked on. These are places that you can pick up or drop off boxes for missions. The hatch rolls up, and they're also using subsumption to ensure that the right box is either available or it's the correct locker for the delivery. Nothing too exciting, but again, it's pretty interesting and decent to have. This is coming in 3.3. They're finishing the final hangar assets, which are being placed in the environment by the design team. Hangars, I'm assuming, will be where we'll come to land in Lorville and potentially the truck stops as well. They've made progress on the major landing location signage for Lorville, adding a bit more movement and context to the city transit areas, and again, it's looking quite interesting. Now, we took a further look into the motion warping tech for characters and players. For example, this takes the vaulting animation and adjusts the height or the distance to fit the object being vaulted, sort of extending the animation. It looks good, but it still needs a little more work, but it does make iteration much quicker and easier for the designers, and it provides a better quality of life for the players. Now, to finish off with, we looked at the ships. The Hammerhead is nearing the end of its final art phase. The lighting states have recently been completed for all areas of the ship, and the Banu Defender has been completely blocked out in white box, with the interior entering the grey box phase, while designers are working to establish its distinctive architectural and design style, and they are looking fabulous. So yeah, that is it for
really
ATV.
Looks nice.
Let's move on to Reverse the Verse, talking more about object container streaming, which is going to be a good one. So this week's Reverse the Verse was a sit down and QA with 3 of the developers working with object container streaming, and they went into some depth regarding what object container streaming was and why Star Citizen needed it. Now, I have included what is important. I have not included the deep technical aspects of what was said, so if you do want to know all the technicalities of object container streaming, bind culling, and everything else that goes with it, feel free to follow the link below and take a listen for yourself. If it is your kind of thing, it is definitely up your street. Now, they did say that the goal is to fit Star Citizen on every player's computer. With a great amount of content, it needs to be broken down in some way. Work on object container streaming started 3 years ago, but this system does already exist in other games, usually single-player games. Now, there's going to be two types of streaming for Star Citizen, servant and client. They are currently working on the client streaming side of things. The server side will need to be updated too due to the sheer scale of content, but they'll do that after the client streaming is completed. Now, as the client, or the player, enters an area, it will contact the server, and then the server will respond with what content needs to be streamed in for the client. If the client is not in a particular area, then there is no reason to stream that content to the client so that it gets cut out. This cuts down the amount of memory the client needs, and as you move around the system, it will dynamically stream in and cut out these entities. Currently, when you spawn in at Olisar, everything in the persistent universe is rendered in, like all the moons, Levski, everything. With object container streaming, only Olisar and a few entities close by, plus players and any ships that might be around, and that's it. It is mostly based on proximity to the client, which determines what gets streamed in, but the object size is also considered. Now, what they want to make sure is that as players come in and go from areas, that the states are updated as they should. They're also currently filling the servers with multiple headless clients, so sort of like simulating lots of players. And as they spread around the map and start moving around, they're going to see what happens and obviously fix things as they go. Obviously, they cannot replicate what it's like when all of us gets inside, so they can't really say how it's going to handle, but fingers are crossed. They said they have found a bit of stalling as you fly to Levski, for example, as it's trying to spawn in this large area, and as you do travel to Lorville, the frame rates begin to drop somewhat, but they have heard people in the office say that it is truly amazing, but he just doesn't want to oversell it to us. But apparently, though, the developers who are used to seeing really raw builds each day are now reporting improvements, and some of them are even reporting drastic improvements. Now, even though the performance is better, they need this tech more to allow them to add other things into the game. So it's not going to fix anything. Obviously, there's going to be more optimizing as time goes on. Object container streaming is just a foundational tech which allows them to expand the game. So obviously, as they add more stuff, the performance could still take a hit. Now, they did say it is just too unpredictable to determine what it's going to be like for each individual player in terms of performance, as there are just too many variables with
Star Citizen is the smoothest game I've ever played.
So, will this increase the player count? Now, unfortunately, they say they're not going to increase the player count this time. They're keeping it at 50. When they go onto the server-side streaming after they've worked on the client stuff, that should help increase the player count, which is a shame because I can't remember who it was. I think it was Chris that mentioned that we should be getting maybe 200 players. That is no longer the case. Next question, how will long-range scanning work? Now, they said that the long-range scanning is basically you will scan the view in front of you, and then it will just ask the server what should be there, and then it will send back the data and allow you to see it. Next question is, why split client and server streaming? Why not just do them at the same time? Server-side streaming requires extra tech that they just don't have at the moment. The client side brings some of the benefits now, but they need more persistence to get the server-side streaming worked on. Does object container streaming affect view or draw distance? No, they say. The range that the entities get streamed in and out of going to be made literally like a pixel in size. You may see a very light popping, but nothing that's going to be too obvious. Next question, what is the current improvements already? Now, they say it does take a lot less time to load into the game, meaning developers can actually iterate faster, and obviously we have heard they have seen some improvements in frame rates, but they can't say it's going to happen for everyone. Next question is, what components will it affect on our PCs? Now, it's mostly a RAM improvement, so your random access memory, but it will also help your CPU a little, but nothing GPU side. And the final question is, once it all goes live and handed to us, how easy will it be for us to determine whether the bug is an object container streaming issue or something else? And he says, look out for things like missing entities, stalling, popping, and maybe some teleportation looking issues. That will be how you determine whether it's OCS or something else. Now, to finish off with, Jared did say that this is a massive undertaking which touches all aspects of Star Citizen, so do expect to see issues when released. Please have patience and ensure that you are reporting bugs to the Issue Council. We are all part of this together, so let us help find those issues and get them fixed as quick as possible. Anyway, that was RTV. The gist of what they said. As I said before, if you want to get more technical about it and learn exactly what each thing does and how it works, by all means watch it for yourself, guys. The link is below. So also this week, the monthly report for August is available to read. I am currently going through it and I'll have a video out for it sometime early next week. Something I do want to point out, which I have read in this month's monthly report, is, and I quote, "They're almost complete on the Teasa spaceport interior with its new shop archetype, the ship rental store." Now this does not mean for certain we will get ship renting or buying in 3.3, but it is sure a good sign that we might do. And finally, the roadmap has also been updated. To hear what has changed this week from the last week, follow the link below to my roadmap update video in the description. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share the video with all your friends. If you like what I do and want to help me make it better, follow the link below to my Patreon page to learn more.
All right. And we got Board Game next. I'll put the link to Board's video here.
Hello and welcome.
And don't forget to enter the contest by leaving a comment on this video that I'm linking right now, because it's a contest every month. And all you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment in the video. Not only this video, but every video he's made for that month. And every video that you have a comment in is a chance to win. I believe it was a Saber Raven last month.
Welcome to some more Star Citizen with a summary of Calling All Devs, a Whimslow Odyssey covering Planet Earth, non-lethal weapons, and expressive ship customization. It's actually pretty good information here. Creating the Planet Earth in-game requires some more planetary and biome tech, and they need to develop lots of their tools more first. It's vastly different biomes like the Antarctic, urban areas, desert, fields, jungles, flora and fauna all together are going to be pretty diverse, probably one of the most diverse planets in the game. So they're constantly developing their planetary tech and adding more biomes to it as they go. So the development of other planets and systems gets them closer and closer to being able to tackle Earth. Hurston, coming with 3.3, has a much larger scale than previous moons because it's a full-sized planet. Huge cities, water, and new biomes, for example, are also on there. I suspect the Earth might actually be one of the last UEE planets that gets completed. They describe it as an end goal and as a distant planet, so they're not working on it at the moment. Maybe they've worked on some hero assets for it or whatever, but it's more to do with the biomes and the planetary tech, because their planets are 1/4, 1/6 scale, so they're pretty damn big, and Earth is iconic. It's the only planet that any of us really have any experience with. Non-lethal weapons. So distortion weapons on ships disable ship systems. They'll disable a shield, and then if you hit individual components, they'll remove the power from them, disable them, that sort of thing. I think eventually the idea is that they can short them and cause those individual systems to blow out. In the future, they want distortion damage to be in the FPS side of the game as well. So you might be able to disable people's equipment, HUDs and visors, things like that. Tasers and tranquilizers aren't specifically planned yet, but they are going to have some non-lethal bounty hunting tools. At the moment in game, they have people being able to pass out through a lack of oxygen, consumables, buffs, debuffs. They can go down these various routes for incapacitating players and NPCs, because, for example, it might be slightly harder to incapacitate someone rather than just kill them, if you see what I mean. And if you incapacitate guards on certain missions, maybe certain missions say you can only incapacitate guards, or you get a bonus if you just incapacitate people rather than kill them, that sort of stuff. So there could be lots of options here to add lots of different gameplay or add additional routes to missions that are going to be in the game. But basically, they're still working out what they want for these non-lethal tools and bounty hunting gameplay and non-lethal weapons in general. They're keeping their options open.
ground-based navigation. So they've been focusing on more core gameplay and FPS movement rather than navigation at the moment. So animations and the way that guns sort of like handle that sort of stuff. Once they fleshed out more of those core features, then they'll move on to navigation. They've also got plans to have like the star map being able to literally roll all the way down onto a planet's surface. There's lots of ways they could handle navigation. They could have gadgets, they could have pathfinding, little waypoints that it shows you. They could even draw pathways, compasses, additions for the HUD or Mobiglass. We're going to have easy ways of finding our sort of like paths around planets and moons. They're huge, these areas, and we will need help navigating them. They just don't know exactly what they're going to use yet. They might use a mixture of a lot of things. They might only use a couple of techniques. We'll have to wait and see. Ship customization. So you're going to be able to customize a ship's exterior colors. This is going to be pretty basic, but you might have the choice of a few areas of the ship to paint, a few different little simple designs, and a few different color options, allowing you to have a more uniformed ship for your org, for example, or to express whatever you want on your ship in a simple way. They may also do complex skins as well, but that would be more on the CIG, sort of like creating those skins side. It's going to be simple ship skin designs from the player customization point of view anyway. So if you just want to change the color or whatever, you'll be able to do that. You'll have some options with glass on ships too, which will impact the internal lighting. A ship's internals are made up of multiple materials rather than the exterior, which is typically just made up of one or whatever. So changing color schemes is harder internally. It's not off the table, it's just not being done right now. They want to be able to get text on your ship too.
If we can do all that, then while we buy a skin, they're going to let us do
that sort of stuff. Interior light states will be changeable and choosable by players too. Red warning lights, yellow warning lights, things like that. But there's a few different states to choose from that you can manually turn on and off. Dirt and wear will affect the interior and exterior of a ship. Dirt is just aesthetic, but will build up over time. Wear is going to actually affect functionality of individual components and weapons. They're not directly linked, but they both build up over time, wear and dirt. So you're going to be able to clean your ship and also repair and replace components. Some ships will have various furniture options as well. The Phoenix might have a choice of a conference table or a piano, for example. And in fact, we've seen the piano. And it sounds like that's the current thinking for furniture. Relatively modular, but you're going to be locked to certain options. So you might be able to change some furniture sets in certain rooms, be able to change certain bed sheets, pictures, minor furniture customization, basically, from a variety of choices. If you have any questions about what we talked about, then please leave them in the comments below. I'm personally pretty happy having a few different high quality options for furniture and interior decoration and customization of my ships. We should still be able to place things on tables like bobbleheads, chessboards, clocks, things like that, calendars, maybe functional things, yeah. They are talking, or did previously talk about, decals on the exterior of ships too. Some limited choice of that. So that'll be interesting to see if we can have org logos maybe in the future. And Earth, that's a big planet for them to tackle. But it sounds like it's not necessary for Squadron 42, which I suspect is because Squadron 42 is going to be set in just maybe a couple of systems, like Odin. We know Odin's system is one of them. There's some tech in the short term which will help. Object container streaming for large areas, ArcCorp for massive cities. That should give them a big step towards the goal of being able to tackle Earth, but they are still going to need to make a ton more biomes and then blend them properly too, and then even develop their planetary tech and city tech and all that sort of stuff quite a bit further to have Earth done properly. But I suppose they could just make it a very pretty city planet or something like that. What do you think? Every month we have a ship giveaway. This time for September, it's a Saber Raven, a game package, and a CitizenCon digital goodies pack. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment on any of my videos during the month. If you'd like to support the channel further, please consider joining on YouTube as a sponsor or via Patreon. Also, if you're looking to get or upgrade a gaming PC, then consider Shadow instead. Shadow is a subscription-based cloud gaming PC service that can turn most devices, phone, laptop, PC, tablet, and more into a powerful gaming PC via the internets. Links to more info in the description for that, and if you do decide to try it, then use the code BOARDGAMER to get a discount on the service. Shadow is now available in Germany as well now, and they've just got a new data center in Amsterdam too. Thanks for watching, guys. I look forward to your comments. Take care, and I'll see you in the verse.
see here. And the Nubifier 1337 was he got 1 day ago. 54. Calling all dev.
Hello YouTubers, this is the Nubifier. Calling All Devs is the Monday feature where your questions are answered by the developer most qualified to take it. Here's what you need to know in 54 seconds. With the scale variance between real and game, it makes sense that recreating Earth introduces some technical challenges. There's currently no path to create Earth properly, but as problems are solved for other issues, more solutions are found for such situations. Non-lethal weapons are broken down into 2 categories: weapons that do damage and those that don't. Tasers and tranquilizers are currently not being worked on. Navigation requires a coordinate system and a means of reading it. It's being thought about, however, there's no clear system being worked on. Player asset customization on the exterior is much simpler than the interior of ships. Being able to fully modify the interior of your ship isn't planned for the near future beyond changing the ambient light level. Being able to modify the wear state of the interior is also possible but not part of the current development, and there may be plans in the future for optional layouts similar to the hangar flare system where we're able to position things in predefined locations. There you go, fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.
All right, that's the noob coming in and telling it how it is. And for the encore tonight, I'm going to introduce you guys to a friend of mine. Tao Loon. This guy's in Thailand, and he streams all these. I don't know where he gets the games. They seem to be popular in Thailand. The games that he plays, it's kind of weird. But yeah, we're gonna raid him. That's what we're gonna do right now. I'm gonna go to my channel. Start the raid. And it was great having all you guys here. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next week. Raid this guy.
Well, I don't know what he found, but he definitely found something. He said so. Oh, there! Okay, there it is.
What's this? I found something.
Hey! Twister 82! Thank you for the raid! And welcome Twister 82 followers to playing some Divinity 2 for the first time. Oh, no, well, we've been playing it for quite a while now, but it's kind of, you know, so it's my first playthrough of it. I've started and restarted a number of times, but I think I've got a relatively okay character class.
I've spotted something.
Sort of selection at the moment.